pickup with a head knife, and you just slice through $100–$150 piece of leather, and now it's a scrap piece that you can use to practice tooling on because it's not going to make armor.
It's pretty unforgiving, but as with any tool that's unforgiving, usually they're the ones that give the best results and the most flawless results, most effortless if you know what you're doing. But I'd wait a very long time before you get one of these. He's been doing leatherwork for what, 17, 18 years now, and even then he doesn't really bring that out much. Definitely get a pair of these. These are good to have as a standby for just simple cleanup. Every so often I'll grab them and clean up my pieces. If you're gonna do something like a ball drape or something that has straps like goggles, I don't know if there's any steampunks in here.
Damn steampunk.
This is gonna be a future ball drape for sword belt, basically, for those of you that aren't too familiar with terminology. Not saying anyone is.
Strap maker.
What this has is several ways of adjusting. This is for your thickness of leather, so you adjust it to be bigger or smaller depending on the size of the grade of leather that you have, and then depending on the size of strap that you have, it's even got measurements so that you can say, oh, I want a 2-inch wide strap. Adjust it, and then you run it along your leather. You need a new blade in this.
It's because it's mine.
When was the last time you changed a blade on this? You didn't bring the strander, did you?
Bring what?
The Australian strander?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
I don't want to dig for it because I'll cut myself. That thing doesn't have a cover.
You'll find it. You know, if you have this face in the right direction, it's hard to tell.
I had it facing the right direction.
I wasn't going to cut leather with it this morning. I was just showing the nice people what it looked like.
Why would you have it facing the other way anyway?
Because I knew you were going to make it.
You are backwards.
Time to play Fallout.
Yeah. There you go. It's not necessary for smaller pieces like that, but for longer pieces that say you're going to make a belt, sometimes if you want to make sure that you have it started at exactly where you want it in the thickness, do a starter cut with your pair of scissors, and then pinch it with these fingers so you have a straight guide per se. Now for smaller straps, this isn't really necessary because it does a sloppier cut than if you're doing a smaller strap. You want to use one of these. This is your Australian strander. This is really, really good for straps like goggle straps, like what Fritz has. The thinner straps, this is perfect for. You can do it for lacing too if you're really careful. This one definitely needs a starter cut. So you use that to judge where you need make your marker, where you need to make your cut, because you are working with a smaller piece of leather, so it's going to be a little more flimsy. Because you need something to grab it by. There you go.
We didn't introduce him to them all.
Darth
Maul.
Other than these, you can get what's called a maul. Now, mauls are, once again, for advanced users. They're not so advanced that you can't pick one up and learn, fairly quickly. But still, it's good to know what you're doing as far as the tooling goes, how much pressure you'll need and whatnot. They have different ones. They have rawhide mauls, same material as these, except they are layered pieces of rawhide. They have polymer ones. I personally like the polymer one because you don't have to worry about it looking like one that he found at an antique shop, that it's just it's a lot more trouble as far as maintenance goes. Yeah, I should have brought mine too. The polymer one, it's straight plastic. No matter how hard you beat on that thing, it's not going to dent or anything. It lasts forever.
Is that the Kong grade ones?
The what?
Kong? During one of my consulting sessions, this woman was using the same material as used for, you know, the big dog cons for our
Yes,
hammers.
it is.
Yeah,
You can
pretty
get-
much.
yeah.
Actually, she did destroy 2 of the hammers, but they're pretty much are indestructible.
Yeah, that's the same stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's a plastic polymer. It's basically the same thing that roller's made out of.
Yeah, there you go. And same thing as the edge beveler. Now you can get creative.
On the malls, I like to, like on that right there, I use boiled leather and put around it. And,
I like
and then using the boiled leather, then it gives me something before I get to that hard plastic.
It's a little bit of a
It
cushioning bounce.
It protects my tools.
Well, that was right. As he said, you can get creative and Darth the Maul. That's kind of like what you're just saying. You give it a bit of a cushion,
Yep.
and it protects the tools from the hard surface. I don't know what it is, but adding a little bit of a cushion and a bit of a bounce off of your tooling stamps. I don't know what it is about it. It just makes it a lot more comfortable when tooling. It makes it seem like it gives a bit better, cleaner of an imprint than a straight hard surface. I think what it is that you don't have a slick surface that the tool is slipping off of and you're sliding a bit, which will give you ghosting if you do that. But
Have you
this
guys
used to
ever
be
worked
some
with
kind of
boiled
blade
leather at
thing.
all?
Oh yeah, I made a whole suit of armor out of it.
I mean, it makes it bullet resistant. The boiled leather makes it bullet resistant. But
Yeah, you got to be careful because if you do it too much, it'll make it brittle.
It definitely.
It's
well, if you're
really-
boiling paraffin, it doesn't make it.
Oh,
Use your-
wax, yeah.
Yeah.
Use your scrap pieces to play with boiling leather to see how long you need to have it in the water, how long you don't need to have it in the water. Get a hold with guys like David and them who have a background in boiling leather and ask, how long do I need to put this in there for? Just a couple seconds. But he's right. Once you boil leather, once you get good at it, you can make this jump out of your hand and commit leather side.
That's us being sleep deprived, by the way.
You can make this almost bulletproof. We've sat there and made whole suits of armor out of it, and like I said, we don't make costume armor, we make real armor. And it's not uncommon to see one of us standing out in the backyard with one of the other ones with a 2x4 running up and smacking them across the piece of armor. Going, you feel that? Or, yeah, okay, get back in the shop and rebuild it. One of our guys, Dr. Nightshade, who works with the Italian water buffalo, actually puts plates out of Sherman tanks in pieces of his armor. And we'll run up with a sledgehammer and smack him in the gut and stuff with it. It's kind of like on Super Troopers, the whole metal codpiece thing. Yeah. Which we're still trying to talk some of our newbies into doing that. So you're going to go into the Stevo.
Yeah. If you're gonna get into doing like that piece that he had over there with the very large custom tool design, all the filigree and whatnot, it doesn't matter necessarily what picture you're doing, but any kind of custom artwork. So you have a ship logo.
We're telling dirty jokes over there.
I know. You're definitely gonna need a swivel knife. I'm sure you've seen these and been like, what the heck is that thing used for? The blade isn't fixed in this.
I'm here to help, man. I'm here
Mark
to
that
assist
John's
you now.
not here for support.
It just needs strobing lights running up and down it, so then you never mind.
All right.
That was true.
There's different blades you can get. This one's really good for beveling. A lot of the bigger line work that you're going to be doing. Where's that piece? The one with all the design on it.
Filigree?
Yeah. Usually for outlines,
Did it make it back around yet? Or somebody's pocket?
I don't think you passed it around. Anyways,
Go with the girl on it?
say you're doing a drawing on pen and paper and you have the main outlines. This is that.
Yeah, see,
Oh, she's got it. There you go.
Gotta make a deeper, straighter
It's going to be a lot deeper a line. It's going to part the leather a lot more, so that when you take your tool and you actually start tooling it, it's going to give it a more bold, much bolder look. Now they have filigree blades for finer detail. They have all different kinds of blades. Your filigree blades.
See, now you guys are getting an insight of what it looks like inside our shop.
There you go. These were done with bevel blades. All these heavy lines. Now when you're getting into doing stuff like this, you're going to need a filigree blade. There's different kinds. There's some that have an angle. This is actually a bevel blade. So this is a smaller version of the bevel blade. Filigree blades are going to be the angled ones.
There's a filigree on mine.
I don't want to show that one just yet. There's a reason. There you go. Filigree. It's got the angle to it. Those are going to do your much finer detail cuts. And when you're using this, have your blade on the end. Swivel knife. It's called swivel knife for a reason. You're cutting. You always have to have the blade going towards you, pulling the blade towards you. You get used to it, but that gives you a lot more control in the tighter detail spots.